song Rachel and Ross, which you talked about, was inspired by the TV show Friends. So today we are going to start off with a little speed round on Friends, if that's okay with you.
Okay.
All right. So first question is, which location? Central Park, Chandler and Joey's apartment, or Monica's apartment?
Like, I just pick my favorite one?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah.
Probably Monica's apartment.
Okay. Wonderful choice. Definitely the best, I feel like, out of them.
Yeah.
So for this one, it is, do you enjoy Chandler's jokes or Phoebe's songs better?
Maybe Phoebe's songs.
Do you have a favorite one?
Yeah. Oh, do I have a favorite one? Oh man, she's got a lot of good ones. I mean, Smelly Cat's a classic.
Right.
But
yeah.
she's got like, there's this one she does about like sticky shoes and stuff. I don't know. She's got so many.
She's just a legend. Supporting character, Gunther or Janice?
Janice. They're both good. It's so hard. Janice, yeah.
No, for sure. Definitely a tough one to choose. Best line, Ross's, we were on a break, or Joey's, Joey doesn't share food.
We were on a break.
Yeah. I might have to disagree on that one. I'm a Joey doesn't share food all the way.
Okay, yeah.
Next one is Rachel's job at Central Perk or Rachel's job at Ralph Lauren.
Oh, for sure, Ralph Lauren.
Yeah. The style she has, too, is just incredible. And then the last one is love like Monica and Chandler or Joey and food.
Joey and food.
Yeah. He definitely has high priorities with food. Mm-hmm. So now that we have an inside scoop on your friends' favorites, how does the show specifically influence the sound and mood of your new song?
Yeah, well, I think, like, I've spent so much time watching the show. It's been, like, just a comfort show for me. So, like, I always wanted to, like, put it in a song somewhere. I just didn't know how I was going to do it. So I feel like, yeah, it definitely influenced the concept, because the whole song was about, like, avoiding like dealing with problems in the real world and just wanting to like absorb yourself and distract yourself in something. And that is what I do with Friends. Like, if I want to avoid my life, I'm like, I'll just put on Friends. I won't think about anything. So yeah, like it definitely influenced the concept of the song for sure. Even though it's only mentioned in one line, it's like, yeah, it had a big influence on the storyline. So yeah.
Yeah, no, comfort shows the way to go. And going off of that, you have a lot of powerful lyrics throughout this song. One of my favorites is, don't want to talk, I start to feel like I'm a nuisance for sharing too much. Going off of that lyric, which I've personally resonated with a lot, how do you navigate the balance between expressing your emotions through music and the vulnerability that comes with it?
Music is such a safe space for me, so I love that I can just be like super honest. Like I can be more honest than I can be in real life, I feel like. So I love to just put it all out there, you know. So I don't feel like it's a tricky thing for me to navigate at all. I'm always just like, this is where I feel like I can be most authentic and most like real with what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, that's incredible. Going off of that, you said that music is a little bit easier to express those emotions. Do you feel like the more you've written music with like heavier emotions, lyrics, things like that, it's gotten easier in the real world to talk to your friends, family, and things like that about it as well?
No. I'm still like I think I'm still a very reserved person, even though I share a lot through like my music and I guess artistically, like I'm still very reserved in person. But I think as I've gotten older, like I've learned to like be a bit more open and be a bit more like assertive about things. But I think that's not really related to like my music journey. It's just me in general. Yeah.
Yeah. Growing up, kind of learning the world.
Just growing up, yeah. Yeah.
And then kind of as we've been talking about mental health and things like that, going off the lyrics of the song as well, with some of the themes surrounding coping, smiling through the difficulties, how do you personally find comfort and strength during challenging times?
Again, like I turn on Friends and I'm like, here are my friends, they're here for me. No, I mean, yeah, when you're going through something, it's always good to just like spend time with yourself and really look after yourself. If you don't have anyone that you can talk to, like just be your own like best friend. Like I always just try and like make myself feel good, like make a nice meal or like order takeout or, you know, put on my favorite show and just like try and really take the best care of myself. Yeah, I'd say that's how I try and get through those things.
Yeah, self-care, a home-cooked meal. Even
self-care, yeah.
Takeout, I like every other week. I'm like, I don't need takeout. And then I'm like, you know what? I deserve takeout.
Yeah, it's like when I'm feeling like really crap, I'm like, okay, I can justify takeout.
Yeah. Not a lot of work required. You can get it delivered, which is the best part. So with that as well, let's see. Of course, my computer is being weird. So sorry. Give me 1 second.
It's okay.
So here we go. Okay. So with Rachel and Ross, I love the beat and use of instruments you have in this song and the unique sound it created. How do you approach incorporating different musical elements to enhance this emotional impact of the song? So you have a lot of these meaningful lyrics, and then kind of how did you find that sound to match those lyrics? Or was it vice versa? You had the sound first and then you built the lyrics off of that?
Yeah, I mean, I really can't take credit for the instrumentation because it's not really me who's doing it. So, but I mean, like I've always kind of had a particular sound in terms of like the chords that I choose and the melodies that I naturally write. So I think that was already there. And yeah, then the lyrics came second. I mean, when I write, I'm always writing melody first. Mm-hmm. So I kind of like record gibberish into the mic and then try and piece something together with that. And then, yeah, my producer, Mark Feist, he's the one who takes it on after all the vocals are done. He does all the production and arrangement. And yeah, with this like most recent batch of songs, we were both like wanting to use more live instrumentation. So he's done that, and you'll hear it like throughout other songs as well. But yeah, they all kind of have a similar sort of sound, but are still their own thing, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not, unfortunately, a songwriter myself. I am slightly tone deaf when it comes to all things. If you turn up the music loud enough, you can't hear me and everyone's happy. But I always find it just so incredible, the different routes everybody goes when creating music, because I feel like that is one of those things that is very, both a group and individual approach people take, because there's so many ways people incorporate sound and also the way they develop that sound. So for you, when you started writing Rachel and Ross, kind of what was that process like for you? Were you watching an episodes of Friends and then it kind of just came in, or was it more of you were working on new music and you realized you wanted to kind of do a mix and add something in like this?
Yeah, definitely like the second one. I'm always a fan of like, if you can add like a pop culture reference, I feel like that's so fun. Like I love hearing that in other people's music as well. Like it makes me connect with it more. So I was just like, I want to somehow incorporate Rachel and Ross into this song. But yeah, like we were just like Mark and I were just kind of in the studio for a couple weeks, and that was one of the songs that came out of that time. And we were just focused. Like there's not a lot that goes through my head, honestly, when I'm writing. It's kind of more just like, okay, this sounds good, like cool, like like I'm not really like really deep, you know, which is funny because I think a lot of people think that it's like this really big, like in-depth thought process. Like maybe it is for a lot of other people, but for me, I'm just kind of like in a different zone. I'm not really thinking. I'm just kind of hearing stuff and going, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
So when you are recording, when you're working on new songs, is there anything that's like a must-have for you when you're working on new music? Like, do you have a certain place you have to be? Like, I know some people like having certain foods, drinks, candles, certain people there. So is there anything for you where you feel like you get more inspired when writing?
I mean, I haven't recorded. I mean, we've recorded in a lot of different places, but like the most comfortable I've been in is just in Mark's studio. Mm-hmm. So that's definitely number one. Like, just be comfortable in the space you're in and feel really like at home, because otherwise you do kind of feel a bit like nervous or not like fully comfortable. Yeah, just fully comfortable. And I guess like you don't want certain people in the room. Like sometimes you're just like, I need to be in my own space, and if I have someone that I'm maybe not super like comfortable with being there, then I won't be able to do my best work. So yeah, maybe those two things, but yeah, like doesn't really matter what food or
no, that's great. Having that space where you can really just be your authentic self, I feel like is a great way to just grow both like individually and as an artist, just being comfortable. Speaking of artists and music, do you have any advice for new and upcoming songwriters or musicians or just people who really want to get more into the music industry?
Okay. I mean, it's funny because I feel like I'm still like on this, you know what I mean? Like I'm still learning how to do all of that. So I feel weird giving advice, but I would just say like, yeah, try and find a way to create content that makes sense for you. Like really utilize the social media platforms, because they do really help. And yeah, as much as it feels kind of scary, especially for me, I would just say, yeah, try and find a way of making content that's authentic to you and like represents you well as an artist, and the right people will connect with it.
Yeah, that is great advice. And I feel like a lot of people will resonate with that. I think sometimes it can be hard to take that leap and just go for it. Recently I've been very into like the worst people can do is say no when shooting for things, and that mentality has been incredible for a lot of different reasons. But I think finding that niche, but also finding, like you were saying, finding that niche both on social media and your music and things like that, you are going to find people who resonate with that. And I feel like that's really going to be the case with Rachel and Ross. It's this fun song and, like you were saying, pop culture references. And I feel like so many people, no matter what country you're in, can relate to the show and find comfort in this show. And I feel like, too, that was especially a really big thing during COVID, as it became this new generation of fans and people who had never seen the show before. And I have an array of cousins, and they all are like seeing it for the first time. And it's just a fun experience to see, is seeing this new gen experience the show. And so for you, when was that first time watching Friends for you? And is that when you really like fell in love with the show, or was it after kind of a few times watching it? Or
probably after a few episodes in, I was like, oh, this is good. But I just like flicked it on, and it was like a random episode, a random season, and I was probably like 13, 14, and they put it on, and like some of the jokes like went over my head as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember thinking, this show's cool, like maybe I should, you know, like watch it in full. And then I would just like, this was like before we had Netflix, so I would like buy the whole season on iTunes.
That was the way.
And then I had it on DVD as well. I had a few seasons on DVD. But yeah, then Netflix came along. So good.
Yeah, so you guys still have it on Netflix in Australia?
We do.
Jealous. So jealous, yeah.
Yeah, because is it on like HBO for you?
Yeah, it's like HBO Max, and then
okay.
It's very much like, I don't even know what the word is, like I kind of borrow friends' we trade subscriptions in the US. It's like, hey, I'll pay for this if you pay for that. But maybe I'm actually coming to Australia in March, so I'm just gonna have
that's great.
to binge on Netflix while I'm there.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, okay, let's see. I have just a few more. And then another lyric that really stuck with me, and funny enough, the first word of it is stuck in a cycle of avoidance. So for you, kind of, what does that look like? Is it avoiding like friends, family, or is it one of those things that it's kind of just like life in general?
Yeah, I think just life in general, or like dealing with like uncomfortable emotions. Like if I'm bothered about something, or I know I've got to like have a difficult conversation with someone, like that's what I'm avoiding. Like I'm just gonna procrastinate and just like do whatever I can to not think about it or feel it or go through it.
I feel that. My therapist always yells at me. She's like, I've been with her 9 years and she still yells at me, and I'm just like, listen, April, you should know by now. This is how I am. This is the way it is. And so for you, kind of what have you found to be kind of those helping pieces, I guess, with just like life and avoidance, any struggles, and anything you're comfortable sharing and things like that. But what have you kind of, like, if somebody who might be struggling for the first time or trying to get help for the first time with tough feelings or mental health issues, what would you kind of suggest, or things that you have found to be helpful in your journey?
Yeah, like for me, I did see a therapist for a while. Like I'm not currently seeing her, but I like do think about going back sometimes, just because like even if I'm not going through something horrible, like just to kind of like check in and talk about things. And I found seeing her like really helpful, just because I don't always have someone that I can share everything to, or that I can, just vent to. Like I have people close to me, obviously, but it's nice to talk to someone who's like unbiased and is there purely just to listen, and you don't kind of feel like I'm unloading so much on this person. And it was really helpful for me to like recognize when I am like avoiding things and or ruminating on them, or like just like your patterns of anxiety in your head. Like it really helped me to understand like when I'm doing those things and catch myself and go, hey, like don't do that. Like, deal with the thing, or, stop ruminating in your head and going around in circles and circles and circles until you don't solve anything.
Yeah.
So, seeing a therapist really helped me understand the way my brain works a little bit better. I recommend it to everyone. I think even if you're not like going through something really awful, like you can still see a therapist. It's still beneficial. That would be my advice. But I know for a lot of people, that's not something they have access to. So that's hard. Like I'm lucky that I'm in a position where I found someone that I can really trust, because I've heard a lot of horror stories of bad therapists. I'm like, I recommend it, but not if they're a bad therapist.
Definitely. And I think that's the thing sometimes too, is people see either, oh, this person had a really great therapist, or, oh, this person really had did not enjoy therapy. And I am very similar. Like all of my friends, I will always say it to them. I was like, literally anyone can go to therapy for any reason. Like, it's just nice to have that unbiased person who is going to hear you out. You can literally rant until your time is up, and just kind of have that space to really get things out of your head and get them into the world and process them in ways you might not even realize. But it is very much one of those things that is a privilege. And I think there are so many incredible organizations, though, that work to provide that support, thankfully, as well. So hopefully I will put some of those in the article as well, so we can get those out to people as well. And then also too, speaking of like your fans and things like that, how do you envision your fans connecting to Rachel and Ross? And what do you hope they take away from this song in particular?
I hope they see themselves in it. Like, I hope that I can relate to people that do a similar thing when trying to process emotions and annoying life problems. Yeah, and I hope that like it draws all the Friends fans in, and they're like, "Oh yeah, she mentioned our show." Like, I hope they connect with it in that way as well. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I love that. And I think that's the nice thing about Friends too, is like you said though, it's like, oh, it's mentioned in this only like once, but I think too is like so many themes you talk about in your song, the characters deal with and they struggle with at some point. And back in the 90s when it first came out and things like that, it wasn't as talked about as much. And so I think that is one of those reasons the show has been a comfort to so many generations, is people have been able to heal through it. And I feel like after listening to your song multiple times, because I was like, hold on, I want to break down all these different parts, but it was very much one of those songs that I feel like hopefully, like you said, will bring comfort and people can relate to, because it does a great job of speaking on the tough topics, but also really relating it to a show that does deal with those topics as well. So I think that is most of the questions I had for you today. The final question I have for you is, if you could swap lives with any Friends character for a day, who would it be and why? It's a tough one, I know.
Rachel.
Yeah.
I just love Rachel. I just feel like she has the best style. Mm-hmm. She always has the best, like, her hair is always, like, so soft. Like, it's always just on point. Like, I'm always looking at her hair when she's on screen. I'm like, damn, like, they really styled it so good today. Like, but also just her personality. Like, I feel like I relate to a lot of the things that Rachel does. Yeah.
No, definitely a phenomenal character to choose. I feel like her style, too, is like so many people take inspiration from it even today still, is very much this popular trend is the Rachel Green and everything like that. So,
for sure.
But thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
Absolutely.